morning and bless Friday to all as we come to the end of another week, coming even closer to the end of the Lenten season. I'm going now into Holy Week, beginning with Palm Sunday and also called Passion Sunday. And then we at the college will be going into 3 days of silence. So our morning devotions will be more in terms of reflective music more than anything else, as I will be in silence. So we come into this place of silence for that period, and we invite persons to join us at the college, especially on Tuesday when we take a walk in nature. We've been hearing a lot about the environment and about nature. So it'll be a good opportunity to spend the day in nature and to really explore the deeper part of our inner work so that we can use that time as a time to really connect with all that is around us, because it's so important for us to make that connection with all of nature and the divine. So looking forward to persons joining with us as we go into this time of stillness and peace. Looking forward to that. But for now we have this devotion to complete for this week. And so we turn our attention to our place of quiet, peace, and we just pause for a few moments as we try to bring ourselves into this space, into this moment. We allow for that divine grace to fill our hearts with gratitude and with peace. We release all of our concerns and worries, anxieties, and we just rest peacefully in this moment. Thanking God for the week past, and just allowing ourselves to be here without agenda, without want or sense of lack, but just being present. Our text today picks up the story of the experience of Lazarus and his sisters Mary and Martha. Lazarus was gravely ill and he died, and Jesus is on his way to see him. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went and met him while Mary stayed at home. Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that God will give you whatever you ask of him." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha said to him, "I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection, and I am the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, the one coming into the world. Death is never an easy thing for us to deal with, no matter how often we experience it, no matter how often we have to deal with it. It always has some measure of discomfort. And there is that sadness, and it is oftentimes difficult to lift ourselves out of that sadness. Yet at the same time we know that there is a sense of gratitude. We know that there's a sense of the person having completed their work. But we are saddened because we no longer have that person there. We no longer are able to laugh with them as we used to laugh with them. We're no longer able to have quiet moments with them in the way we used to. Martha is sharing this experience with us as she challenges Jesus in a way about his not being where he could have been and would have made a difference. But Jesus promises that her brother will rise again. And for this part of the passage, we end with the idea that he will rise again in the resurrection. But more and more we're getting the sense that our loved ones are with us. We in the church speak of the cloud of witnesses, those who have gone on, and we even ask them to assist us in our journey. But at times I think we speak more of the saints being able to do this than anyone else. Within other traditions, they speak of the ancestors, recognizing that all who have lived are still in some way or another alive. And I guess it's important for us to have this sense of those beyond the veil, and the fact that they're not gone to nothing. They still exist. And from time to time, persons have had experiences of visitations. And they have at other times gotten messages via others from their loved ones. Messages that persons would not have known anything about unless the loved one had really conveyed the message. But all this really helps us to recognize that there is an aspect of this human existence that we are glossing over constantly. the reality that there is something beyond the experience of death. And I think it's important for us as a community to begin to give more thought to this truth. More thought. To allow it to be more real to us. And not just to be something that we wish is true and we hope it be true, but we don't have a sense of it being true. I think we need to really have that sense of its truth and begin to live with that awareness that there is something beyond the veil, and not at the end of time, but right now. Knowing that when our loved ones transition, they simply are set free. They release. They are unbound by this physical constraint, and they're able to exist in their natural state as souls. This is something that really needs to be reflected on. And then to be able to realize that yes, we will all meet again someday. That someday will be when we cross over, when we pass through the veil. But even now, even from this side, there can be moments. There can be moments when we may be able to reach out and connect. And some of us have experiences in different forms, different symbols, different things that occur, and we can sort of connect them with the loved one. And we must be grateful and thankful for those moments, those touching moments. No one is gone forever. No one goes in to the abyss, into nothingness. We're all here. We're all part of this great whole. And so when our loved ones transition, we should not be like those without hope. We should not just be overwhelmed by the sadness, but we should also allow the knowledge of the fact that they're still in this existence. And by this existence, I mean that they have not gone to nothingness. They're not in this physical world, but they exist. And we must be able to hold that thought, that truth in our hearts. And in a sense, let them go. Let them go to be what they are. Let them go. Let them go and engage with them in a different way. Let them go. Let them go and give thanks that we have had the opportunity of the particular relationship that you would have had in this particular life. Let them go. And whether the relation was challenging or whether it was beautiful, give thanks. Because we all come here for a purpose. And we leave here when that purpose is ended. We all come here to play a part. And sometimes the part we play may not be an easy part, but it is a part that we are asked to play. So that when we release the part, we must think of it like those on a stage. Persons go on the stage and they play a role. Maybe a beautiful role. It may be the role of the villain. And those watching can have their favorite and also despise certain actors because of the role they're playing. But it would be folly if after the plays ended and we meet one of the actors on their way home, for us to attack the actor because we didn't like that role that actor played. That would be folly. So we must recognize that so too, we in this world, we play a role. We agree to play roles. But when we put this body down, we put the role down, and we return from whence we have come. And in that state, as the Kabbalists would tell us, the soul is pure. So we give thanks. We give thanks because we know that soul has played a role. And we thank that soul for playing that role so that we could have learned the lessons that we were supposed to learn. So Jesus is there to give Martha assurance that her brother lives. And the rest of the story is known. Jesus calls him forth and says, "Unbind him and let him go." This rising of Lazarus is in a sense symbolic of our own rising, our own being unbound and release, unbound from this world and release into that perfect space where we continue our journey with God. For those who are at this time in a place of sadness, we send God's light and love. We send it in great doses. We hold you in love. We hold you in light. And we give thanks with you for all that you have experienced and all that you have received from your loved ones.